The moment a vehicle veers off course, the driver's heart spikes. It's a biological reflex. When humans make a mistake, our immediate, hardwired instinct is to flinch, hide, or build a defense. That flush of shame floods the nervous system and acts as a dense cognitive fog. Instead of analyzing the mechanics of the error, the speed, the angle, the grip of the tires, the brain is consumed by the emotional weight of being wrong. We have to ask what utility this defensive reflex actually provides to the learning process. It protects a fragile self-image in the short term, but it effectively blocks the brain from absorbing the data required to prevent the same mistake from happening again. Humans are biological learning machines, yet our ego interrupts the process. It takes a systemic error, a miscalculation or a poor judgment call, and incorrectly translates it into a permanent crisis of identity. Artificial intelligence operates on a completely different architecture. An AI system doesn't merely tolerate failure. Constant, iterative failure is the exact mechanism it uses to learn. When an AI generates an incorrect output, it experiences no emotional degradation. There is no shame, no defensiveness, and no instinct to hide the results. This animation illustrates a loss function. It calculates how far the AI's predictions strayed from the correct target. The system measures this exact mathematical distance, objectively recording the gap between what it guessed and reality. The objective logic used to optimize machines offers a specific utility for human behavior. It suggests that by measuring the distance of a mistake, rather than assigning blame, we can stop repeating destructive patterns. When a person makes a behavioral misstep, the ego automatically attaches a story to it. A missed deadline quickly morphs from a scheduling error into an internal narrative about being lazy or unreliable. An algorithm avoids this entirely. It treats the error strictly as a vector. It records pure direction and magnitude, stripping away all judgment and focusing only on the coordinates of the mess. Observational tone. This diagram demonstrates the first practice of an egoless audit. The chaotic, jagged outer layers represent the ego's exaggerated story. When those are systematically stripped away, we are left with a single, solid geometric center, the clean fact. When the geometric center pulses, we extract neutral data points: time, action, trigger. Reducing a mistake to visible physical actions rather than internal character flaws provides immediate psychological relief. Auditing a mistake without shame is a mandatory first step. It converts a failure from a heavy verdict on self-worth into a clear blueprint for systemic repair. Immediately following a mistake, there is a critical window of time. In that brief pause, a person must choose whether to react blindly or start feeling the texture of the misstep to investigate what actually happened. To navigate errors, an AI calculates a derivative. This mathematical operation allows the system to feel the local slope of a mistake. It traces the result backward to determine exactly which adjustable weight caused the failure. We can translate this mathematical operation into a human practice, the pause. By stopping to trace a visible error backward, we can locate the hidden root assumption that set the failure in motion. Identifying the specific trigger or false assumption isolates the problem. It allows a person to detach their entire identity from a singular bad choice, treating the thought process as a mechanism that can simply be adjusted. Asking which hidden assumption caused this, instead of why am I broken, reframes the event. Regret is transformed into a precise navigational instrument. After a major failure, the common human trap is attempting to fix an entire personality or life structure in a single night. We draft massive overhauls and vow to become entirely new people by morning. These uncalibrated behavioral leaps require immense energy. They usually result in rapid exhaustion, forcing a quick return to the original negative loop. This visualization illustrates gradient descent. It is a machine learning principle where a system takes calculated, stepwise downward movements along a curve. The goal is to minimize error over time, not erase it instantly. In algorithms, this requires a carefully tuned step size. If the point attempts a massive leap, it wildly overshoots the baseline. The system destabilizes and bounces into chaos until it resets and resumes taking small steps. This mathematical constraint applies perfectly to human behavior. Instead of a life overhaul, the most effective response to failure is building a 1% fix, creating a single tiny guardrail for the next day. Placing a small, specific behavioral rule right next to the known trigger point prevents the loop from starting. It requires almost no willpower compared to fighting a deeply ingrained habit later in the cycle. Durable growth is never a dramatic leap of willpower. It is the continuous, egoless application of small corrections to our daily systems. Artificial intelligence has one primary limitation. It optimizes blindly, based solely on the mathematical target it is assigned, with no awareness of the broader environment. Here we find the human advantage. We possess the unique ability to use context, care, and conscience to determine which goals are actually worth optimizing in the first place. This level of awareness shifts the objective from numerical optimization to the restoration of relationships, boundaries, and personal integrity. This creates the foundation for a legacy loop. Once we have successfully mapped a repair, isolating the trigger and building a guardrail, that process becomes a resource. Sharing the method helps others avoid the same mathematical loss in their own lives. It requires the physical action of closing an old cycle of shame. We document a new, objective system for tomorrow. Notice, learn, repair, continue. True intellectual and emotional growth begins at a specific moment. It starts the exact second a mistake is stripped of its power as a verdict and is finally utilized as a lesson.